Well, across Central Oregon, we are in an unsettled weather pattern. We've had a whole lot of cloud cover. Tuesday has been chilly and some sprinkles have been falling. All of this is part of a warm front. In the next few days, we stay in this semi-active weather pattern. We'll call it an unsettled weather pattern with back-to-back warm fronts, then a cold front just in time for Thursday on Thanksgiving. And with this, we are looking at temperatures becoming a little more mild before we really get chilly again. Hey, everyone. Darrell Winninger here, Chief Meteorologist at Central Oregon Daily News, and we're about to do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Look at what's been happening across the Tri-County area, what's on deck, and how it's really going to impact us as a couple more systems move through the Pacific Northwest. So, quick look across the Tri-County area this evening, and we have this cloud cover. We haven't seen too much in the way of precipitation, though some sprinkles and wintry mix have been showing up on radar. A lot of that isn't translating to scattered or even widespread showers across Central Oregon, more like sprinkles. And through the next couple of days, these sprinkles stay with us. So we are currently sitting in the warm sector of a low pressure system. So that means the warm front has already passed through. That happened earlier today. The cold front is still offshore. But when we look at the bigger picture, this cold front is actually attached to a warm front. That's our next system. So just outside of the range of this satellite imagery is where we have that next system out over the Pacific Ocean. And so what we've seen today, this continues through the next couple of days, because instead of our cold front rolling through with it transitions to the warm front of this next system, and that's what pushes through. So two back-to-back warm fronts without a cold front means increased moisture, a warming trend, and ultimately this unsettled weather pattern continues. So when we look at infrared satellite imagery, we can see where there are some tall clouds through the Tri-County area and west of the Cascades. But for the most part, not only do we have tall clouds with the brighter colors, but some low-level cloud cover, and some of this low-level cloud cover could descend, becoming some areas of fog tonight. When we look at the bigger picture, there's a broad ridge of high pressure to our south and our southwest. To our northwest, over the Gulf of Alaska, there's a low pressure center and another low that's forming further out over the northern Pacific Ocean. So where you see this bullseye off the California coastline, that's where we have another center of low pressure forming and a warm front stretched closer to the coastline with a cold front further to the south of that. And that is going to be part of the 1-2 punch that we're looking at here through the next couple of days when it comes to low pressure systems. So currently there's a whole lot of moisture over the Pacific Northwest. Now there are some sprinkles showing up on radar. We were just looking at that, but it's not really translating to actual precipitation at the surface. So when we pause this and just look at the satellite and radar for Central Oregon, we see some sprinkles, but as you've stepped outside, you've noticed that the roads are a little damp. We're catching some sprinkles on our windshield, but it's not like we're actually getting scattered showers through the Tri-County area. And so the moisture is there, and we just don't have a lot of precipitation falling all the way to the surface because we do have dry conditions over the high desert. Not so much in the highest elevations as water vapor illustrates, but we do have it in the lower elevations. And when we look at the rest of this system, there's just a plume of moisture out over the Pacific Ocean that's getting ready to continue to pump into the Pacific Northwest with wave after wave of moisture. And so what that really means for us is our forecast model, the high resolution forecast model, it actually shows that through the overnight hours, we do get periods of clearing. And then by the AM hours, we start to catch a few more sprinkles. By Wednesday, the warm front pushes through. So we start to get a cold front, and then that warm front works its way right through the high desert. What that means for us is we are expecting some periods of clearing. Another bump in temperatures is in the forecast, and that continues even into Thursday. And we don't see that cold front pushing through until we get later into the day, and that's when it actually fizzles out. And so we have back-to-back waves of moisture, each one bringing its own set of changes, each one caused by a different feature that's going to be impacting the Pacific Northwest. And as of right now, we do have some very dry conditions where you're seeing the greens, those moderate to high relative humidity values. That's where it is a little more moist. That's where some of those sprinkles are really reaching the ground. And today, because of the additional cloud cover, because of these showers impacting us, temperatures just did not go very far at all. Our forecast high was the upper 40s with some low 50s, and we mostly got into the mid to some upper 40s. So we were actually running a little shy of where we should have been with the forecast. Meanwhile, looking at temperatures across the Tri-County area, we're in the 30s with some 40s out there. So it is chilly. And for the most part, we're actually running between 5 degrees warmer to 7 degrees cooler than we were this time yesterday. We were supposed to get a better bump in temperatures. Looks like that's going to shape out for the next couple of days, where instead of 40s with a few 50s expected, like we got today, we're actually looking at 50s with some 40s possible. So tonight, temperatures do dip back into the 30s with some 20s out there, and then tomorrow we start that warming trend. So when it comes to just the weather pattern, taking precipitation and cloud cover out of it, outside of these words that you see here, what we're looking at is Wednesday, some light showers are expected with a little modest warming, and that's because the second warm front works its way through the Pacific Northwest, and on the backside of that, a warmer air mass brings in some warm air advection, which means pushes warm air right into central Oregon. This is what's going to cause our temperatures to bump up a little bit more. By Thursday, we start off in the warm sector of this next system, and then that cold front starts to roll through. So highs once again in the 50s, some 40s, lingering off and on. Showers are even expected by the time we get to Friday. Some of that precipitation could dip into the Pacific Northwest as the rest of that system fizzles out while it moves to the south and southeast. Nevertheless, Friday, it's going to be much more chilly, and some of those sprinkles could actually be flurries. Now, when it comes to precipitation between now and the end of our work week, most of it just rain. Most of it is not going to be any snow until you get further up into Washington, and some parts of the Tri-County area don't even get wet with that system. So we do have temperatures rebounding back into the 50s with some 40s during the next 48 hours, and showers are expected. But by Friday, on the backside of Thursday's cold front, it gets chilly and temperatures are closer to where they should be for this time of the year. Now, when it comes to our forecast model, this is the one we typically use on air, except I stretched it out a little bit. Now, this is the same one that this time yesterday was actually showing a decent snow system to the Cascades. By the time we get to Friday and Saturday, that has since changed. And so your forecast model shows that as that cold front approaches tonight, it fizzled out. Our next warm front rolls through Wednesday. During the AM hours, we're getting some sprinkles. Those linger into the midday, and by the PM, we start to clear out. Then Thursday morning, our cold front is just out of reach. Temperatures warm into the 50s during the late morning and midday hours, and then on the backside of that cold front, it gets chilly, and it does look like some moisture is expected Friday, but then we get to sunshine across the high desert by Friday afternoon. Now, when it comes to Saturday and Sunday, this specific forecast model just shows some in and out clouds. So let's look at a different forecast model. This is the GFS, the American Long Range Forecast Model, and it's showing that some of these off and on showers continue through tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. On the backside of Thursday's system, this one shows that by Friday at 9 a.m., some rain showers with some snow, flurries possible, and then by Saturday and Sunday back to a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover. So the forecast models are actually lining up with this, holding off our next system until we get to this time next week. So between now and Saturday at noon, we're looking at some showers, not much in the way of snow, and even going past that day by day through the forecast model, it just shows that Saturday and Sunday not looking at as much in the way of precipitation. So when it comes to winds, we have been a little breezy at times for parts of the high desert with some of those gusts at 15 plus miles per hour. Actual wind speeds are 2 to 10 miles per hour, and through the overnight hours we start to taper off around and after sunset, and then by the early morning we actually get breezy again at times, and that's because that's the cold front that's fizzling out over the region. It does bring some stronger winds, some precipitation, but after that, we're just looking at a light breeze Wednesday and Thursday. It's getting breezy. So a mixed bag of conditions across the high desert. Tonight, expect 30s with some 20s out there. Many of us actually getting down to near and below freezing, just not for everybody. Through the day Wednesday, we're going to be topping out in the 50s with some 40s out there. And then your 7-day planner shows that on the backside of Thursday's cold front, that's when it just gets chilly through central Oregon. Overnight lows dip back into the 20s, highs back into the 40s, close to average for this time of the year. And then toward the beginning of next week, that's when we start to see an increase in temperatures as our next system rolls in. The warm front bumps us back up into the 50s, and then by Tuesday, some showers, rain and snow showers, back down to the 40s. So truly, roller coaster temperatures through the next 7 days. The most pleasant day looks like it's going to be Thursday, but it could get breezy at times, and by the PM hours, we're actually going to get a cooling trend on the backside of that cold front, the more pleasant temperatures are going to be during the midday hours. So, quick look at your weather headlines for this Tuesday, November the 25th. Chilly, clouds, showers, check. That pattern is going to continue. By Thanksgiving, we get a little bump in temperatures, and that actually starts tomorrow with areas of overnight fog possible each night going forward. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines in news and your most reliable forecast. We'll see you then.